Salut, dragii mei, eu sunt Luigi, alături de mine o am pe Chichak, care este responsabilă de asigurarea calității în tot ceea ce ține de Metin2. Interviul va fi de asemenea audio, ca și cu Joe de mai înainte, și îi voi pune niște întrebări legate de calitatea vieții în engleză. Hello, Chichak, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for the invitation.
The first question is regarding bug reporting and fixing. How does your team prioritize which bugs to fix first?
As QAs, we only give recommendations and we suggest how it should be fixed, depending on the priority, and then the product owners make the final decision.
Could you walk us through the process of testing new updates before release?
Of course. First, we have to do some planning, which is reading the documentation provided by developers, estimating how much time we would need. Then we also create like test cases, what we're gonna test in the game update. Then we do the actual testing. That takes some time. And then comes the release. And after release, we also monitor like post-release, player reports, such stuff.
For how long, approximately?
I think it also depends on how much time we have, but yeah, we monitor for quite some time.
What steps are you taking to address long-standing issues like inventory glitches?
I mean, as a QA, our job is just mainly to focus on finding and reporting those bugs, but how they are handled after the reporting, it's up to the, again, project owners.
And how closely do you work with the development team during the update process?
I would say pretty often. We have to, of course, clarify the issues, the bugs that we report. We have to often provide reproduction steps to the developer team. So yeah, we are working pretty closely. But again, depends on what specific update.
Can you describe how the QA team ensures quality across different game patches?
Yes, we always try our best, and I think we do a great job, but we have like a standard procedure, standard checks that we have to do, and then usually we take a closer look depending on what changed, what features were added, but yeah, I think we're trying our best always.
Are there ever conflicts between what the developers want to release and what QA finds problematic?
Yes, of course there are conflicts. That's normal, I think, but we usually find a common ground between developers and QA for sure.
How does your team test for bugs across different hardware and systems?
I would say we have like a few different systems that we can use and that we regularly check, depending on the updates again, and of course also different Windows versions. And then when we have like a bigger update which could affect the game, we also hire like sometimes an external company to help us with the testing if the testing has to be on a bigger scale. So yeah,
Okay.
we try to cover as much as possible.
Do you feel that QA has enough input in the development process?
I would say yes. I think our relationship helps with that, and I think we have a lot of say maybe compared to some other games. I think, yeah.
Player reports. How do you handle the volume of player bug reports?
The player reports have to go through community or support, and then we get the reports to QA where we handle them.
So they're getting a little bit filtered out.
Yes, we don't directly interact with the community.
How do you distinguish between a legitimate bug and user error?
Simply by trying to reproduce the issue. If we can reproduce it, then of course it's a legitimate bug, but if we cannot reproduce it, we try to look at the logs, compare the log, and see if it's actually, if there is some indication that there might be a bug or just a user error.
But still, there can be bugs which cannot be replicated easily. How do you handle those?
I would say we spend a pretty fair amount of time trying to reproduce it. If that doesn't work, we usually just send it out to the developers. Maybe they have some more like indications on and details on the bug. We report it anyway.
Could you give us a few examples of what technical challenges you encountered during the testing phase?
Sure. When we have, like, for example, example, a lot of different projects going on. Like, for example, now the summer servers and the Twitch was all combined together. That can sometimes interfere and deny some testing. That's our biggest problem, I would say so.
Did you face any challenges with the new Sangma Invasion update?
Yes, there was a few like funny bugs. If I can give what was a funny bug to me as an example was that you could only attack the portal from one angle.
Okay.
It wasn't attackable from all of the angles, but just one specific one. Then we had issues with like the rewards and the tokens and mobs, player killing as well, that stuff.
How rigorous is the testing process for new items and mechanics?
I would say that the mechanics are pretty much always tested to the core. On the items, it depends how many items we are talking about. If there is like thousands of items which are somehow connected, we usually take like some small part of them and test those deeply, and the others are just like briefly tested. But yeah, it really depends how much items, what items. If we can divide them into categories, then we go with that.
Very nice. Can you describe the testing methods used for large-scale events like the invasion overhaul?
Begin with, we usually always do the game updates with the team of volunteers, which help us a lot. That's how we get the biggest the biggest things tested. Then by ourselves, we also follow the documentation, and after the documentation testing, we try out maybe like player-like behaviors, not just normal playing, and then exploratory and some possible exploit testing.
How do you ensure that patches don't introduce new bugs?
We always try our best, but I think it's known that we can never completely ensure that the no new bugs get introduced with a patch. So again, our main job is to prevent as many as possible. I think we're doing great in that regard.
Do you use automated testing or is everything manually tested by the team?
We do have some systems that are tested with automation, but I think due to the nature of the client games and especially Metin, most of the tests are sadly manually done. It's kind of hard to automate it.
It's really time consuming then.
That
yeah.
as well.
How do you verify that updates will work across all regions and server configurations?
We have many different test environments, different test servers that are specially set up for this to reflect different configurations and different server settings.
What tools do you use in the testing process?
Tools that, for example, help us with making the testing easier, like cheat tools, adding young, adding quests, setting progress. But we also have like a tool that is used for, of course, tracking the bugs that we reported, and a tool that help us keep track of what test cases we do. So it's easier just to manage everything and keep track of everything. And of course, the automated process.
Are these tools updating, evolving to handle more complex updates?
Yes, of course. It has to. And during the first phases, which are the planning phases, we always plan in some buffer, some resources to evolve the tools with each update. Yeah.
So you have resources dedicated to testing events.
Yes, of course.
Okay. What improvements would you like to see in the quality assurance tools at your disposal?
I generally like our tools, but if there is one thing I can wish for is that they would be faster.
Yeah, that seems to be on a larger scale.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
That's my main point. Just make them faster.
Make them faster.
Yep.
How do player-reported bugs impact your testing schedule?
So after, as I've said, after post-release, we always plan some time to have just for player reports, so we can look at those reports if something slipped through. Yeah, but if they get found like really late and we are tough on schedule, then yeah. We of course prioritize that, but it's sometimes very stressful.
How do you prioritize bugs that affect gameplay versus cosmetic issues?
Gameplay issues always have priority. Cosmetics, it's just cosmetics.
Okay, they can wait, yeah.
Yes, gameplay first.
Are there any bugs reported by the community that surprise you?
Yes, I would say the one that surprised me the most was the one where we got reports that the player was, for example, 121 level. That was really surprising for me, but we fixed that as well.
I've never heard of that.
Really?
121, yeah? Wow. Hopefully he done a screenshot of it.
I'm pretty sure there was a YouTube video, so yes.
Okay. Have player reported bugs ever led to major changes in the game?
Yes. Maybe example, won't say it's a good example, the Soul event. That one, yeah.
It was broken, yeah.
That one is a major change for me.
We got a new one now.
That is true. I hope you like it.
I didn't get to test it, but I hope I will get to test it tomorrow. Not later than tomorrow.
I mean, depends on how much you grind.
Yeah. How do you address situations where fixing one bug leads to the emergence of another?
That's a very unfortunate case, but it does happen. A lot of crying, I would say.
Oh.
I mean, it's difficult if you think about it, like when you try to fix one thing and then another things comes up. Yeah, but if we have to sit and think about it, which one has the higher priority, which one are we going to tackle first, which one are we reporting first, and then we focus, if possible, we put a lot of focus on the more important one than the other one.
You prioritize.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they have the same priority or something like that, then we just have to split and get them
Flip
both
a coin.
done. I mean, if possible, we just split the team. You work on that, I work
Okay.
on that, so
Okay.
both of them should get tackled.
Not bad. Are there any improvements or changes you would like to see in the bug reporting system?
I would say no. I'm pretty happy with what we have at our disposal. I think the reporting tools are really good.
What's your approach for tackling bugs in upcoming updates?
I think at the moment we do a nice job. Yeah, I would say we would keep reporting the bugs, keep providing suggestions to game design and the project owners. This is our job. Try our best.
How will QA adapt to future updates that may introduce new game mechanics?
I think we are doing a pretty good job already. So I would just keep the same spirit and keep doing as we've been doing for the last years. Since I'm here, I'm pretty happy with how we adapt to every new mechanic that gets introduced.
Do you foresee upcoming challenges with testing new content like expanded storylines?
Sometimes the biggest challenge is actually just not having documentation. That's like you just have to YOLO it. Maybe also like lack of resources. If you don't have enough team members, then it can get pretty challenging.
And now some personal insight.
Of course.
What has been the most rewarding bug fix you have worked on?
If exploits count,
Yeah.
then probably I would say the job split and stack was pretty annoying. The exploit where you could just duplicate the items. So yes, that was very much rewarding.
What has been the most challenging issue to tackle from a quality assurance perspective?
It's also hard to just point down to one, but there is a lot of bugs which cannot be easily reproduced, also by our developers. Maybe something I can think of which was difficult was if for example, the melee statue that turned into a defense mode when you were hitting it. So that was, for the developers, it was, if I can remember correctly, a hassle. But not so much reproducing, but just fixing and figuring out where it comes from, how it comes.
The whole process, yeah.
Yep. The reproducing, it's fine, but getting a hand of it, fixing it, yeah.
How do you manage stress during major update cycles?
No. I would say it also depends how you manage like your work and life balance. But at the end, I don't think I suffer that much from stress because I also love what I do. I love the community and I love my team. So for me, it's not that bad. Yes, it's stressful, but I manage.
Not bad. What excites you most about your role in Metin2 development?
just being part of it, to be honest. The community is awesome. My team, as I said, I also love them. So yeah, just happy for the opportunity to be able to be here.
And we are down to our last question. What do you hope to improve within Metin2 QA over the next year, if there is anything to improve?
Not improving, but keeping the good relationship with developers that we have, and improving as much of quality of life things as possible. That for sure. Like, if I can name, like the items not stacking, for example, that's my biggest pain. So yeah, but nothing specific within the QA, just keeping the good relationship with everyone.
Thank you very much for the insights in the daily hassles of quality assurance.
It's not that bad. It's
Thank
not a
you.
hassle for me. You're welcome.
It's not a hassle. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you as well for the invitation. And yeah,
Maybe we'll do another one next year. See what changes.
we can do the same questions.
That would be great. Yeah. Thank you
you.
very much.